Hi, I'm Katie from the Seekonk Public Library, and the book that I recently finished listening to on audio was Educated by Tara Westover. So you may have heard of this book. It's been on the bestseller list. It just came out in February. And the author, Tara Westover, received her PhD from Cambridge University, even though up until the age of 17 she had had no formal education. Her parents would say that she was homeschooled, but really she learned nothing. Her mom would send her up to do some math, and she would flip through the book, and she would consider that doing so many pages of her math workbook. So she really had no education when she went to school. And so she grew up in a very strange environment. She grew up in Idaho, and her parents were fundamentalist Mormons. Her father did not believe in the medical establishment, didn't trust the government, thought that the public schools would turn his children into socialists. So the majority of the children did not go to public school and were homeschooled. But really what they did was most of the time they helped their father out in his scrapyard, which was how he made money. And the work was very, very dangerous. And one of the shocking things about this book was the number of accidents that this family had, and the results of that when they didn't believe in the medical establishment. There was a horrible car accident where a lot of them were injured. Of course, they weren't wearing seatbelts. And the mom, for a while afterwards, they called her raccoon eyes because she had bruises all over her eyes. Later, Tara learned that that was an actual medical condition and that her mother had suffered some pretty severe brain damage in that accident. So this is a coming-of-age story about how Tara grows up in this family. She does eventually teach herself enough that she passes the ACT and gets admitted to Brigham Young University. And that is when her lack of an education really shows up in embarrassing ways. She was in a lecture-style class, and she noticed that the other students, when they didn't understand something, would ask the professor. So she did the same thing. She raised her hand and she asked a question. And there was just stunned silence from the professor and the students, because what she had asked was, what does Holocaust mean? So that's when her ignorance really started to show. Also, she didn't know how to study. She almost flunked out her first semester until her friend said that, yes, you actually have to read the textbook, not look at the pictures. So this is a story about how Tara receives her education and how that affects her and her relationship with her family. And she is brutally, heartbreakingly honest. Sadly, before I recorded this, I read some of the reviews on Amazon, and there was a 1-star review that was written by one of her siblings. So they're obviously not too happy about what she has said in this story. One other thing, this book, Sound of Gravel, I've been meaning to read this book for a while, and of course the hole came in right after I finished Educated. And this story is about Ruth Warner, her mother's 4th and her father's 39th child. So it's also about fundamentalist Mormons. So if you can't get your hands on Educated, I've heard rave reviews about The Sound of the Gravel, which I might read in a year, but I think I need to move on to a different type of book.